You're watching Local 15 News with Derek Rose and meteorologist Theyre Tate.
This has been a rough summer for a lot of families across America. Sequestration led to furloughs, meaning less money for hundreds of thousands of households. So what about the lawmakers? And how could they have prevented it? They're taking a lot of heat this summer, in part because of the many perks they are enjoying, while others are struggling. John Humbert did some digging to find out just how good they have it.
These days, being a senator or congressman isn't going to win anyone a popularity contest. When Congress adjourned for the summer, they did so without solving our country's budget crisis, leaving thousands of workers in the lurch, facing forced furloughs or worse, a hard pill to swallow as lawmakers set out for their 5-week summer break. We set out to find out just how good the lawmakers have it. Let's start with that summer break. Some call it a vacation, but lawmakers say not so fast.
Not asking for pity.
This week, Rep. Rick Larson was back in his home district in Washington talking about river protection. Larson bristles when people call his 5-week paid break from D.C. a vacation.
I don't mind the criticism. I do mind the inaccuracies.
Here's a sobering truth. Members of Congress already come to D.C. with pretty hefty bank accounts. An open secret study found that representatives have an average wealth of $6.5 million, while senators average nearly $12 million. And even though lawmakers haven't given themselves a raise since 2009, they still earn around $174,000 a year. Party leaders can make upwards of $250,000. Compare that to the median salary in America, which is around $52,000 a year.
They need to get normal guys like, this guy and that lady to run things instead of career politicians.
But Rep. Adam Smith says this is a serious job that demands serious pay, especially with 2 homes. They have to live back home and in D.C.
$174,000 a year for a professional job, flying back and forth, representing 700,000 people. It doesn't seem like too much money to me at this point.
Members of Congress can get a $3,000 a year tax deduction for that second residence, but that perk requires a paper trail.
All of the headaches of a small business with all the red tape of a bureaucracy.
Bradford Fitch of the Congressional Management Foundation worked on the Hill for 2 decades. After the mortgage, the next big bill for most Americans is their car payment. Not a problem for house reps who are allowed $1,000 a month toward a low-emission car lease in their home district. They also get reimbursed for oil changes and gas. And speaking of travel, spouses get to come on fact-finding trips all over the country and the world. Much of the tab is picked up by you, the taxpayers. Larson defends it, saying spouses help for state dinners and schmoozing foreign governments.
Yeah, it is a benefit, but is a taxpayer getting something out of that as well? I think there's an argument that they are.
After their careers are done, the already rich members of Congress get help with retirement. Just like all federal employees, members of Congress are entitled to both a pension and access to 401k. It's pretty cushy because few private companies offer that to anyone anymore. But not everything you read online about Congress is true. Members of Congress do not get an exemption from Obamacare. Right now, they can choose from about 10 health plans, but come January 1st, they will be limited to the plans offered by their home state.
They basically force members of Congress to go into the healthcare exchanges, which are designed for individuals and for people without health care.
The real challenge here is to make sure that there isn't a double standard.
From planes and cars and money in the bank, most in Congress may not be popular, and they may get perks we could only dream of. Don't worry, they know it.
Most folks don't care about the trials and tribulations of a member of Congress, and I don't expect them to.
No sympathy for 172,000.
Don't cry for me, Argentina. I'm not in this game for pity.
And in response to this story, we certainly want to know what you think. Does Congress work hard enough to get these perks mentioned in that story? We want to hear from you. Just go to our Facebook page, join the conversation, and keep it going.